Astu. So we are picking up from 61st shloka. पंच प्रेतासनासीना पंच ब्रह्मस्वरूपिणी चिन्मयी परमानंदा विज्ञान घनरूपिणी 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 ध्यानध्यातृध्येय रूपा धर्मा धर्म विवर्जिता विश्वरूपा जागरिणी स्वपन्ती तैजसात्मिका ध्यान ध्यातृ ध्येय रूपा धर्मा धर्म विवर्जिता विश्वरूपा जागरिणी स्वपन्ती तैजसात्मिका ध्यानध्यातृध्येय रूपा धर्मा धर्म विवर्जिता विश्वरूपा जागरिणी स्वपन्ती तैजसात्मिका ध्यानध्यातृध्येय रूपा धर्मा धर्म विवर्जिता विश्वरूपा जागरिणी स्वपन्ती तैजसात्मिका सुप्ता प्राज्ञात्मिका तुर्या सर्वावस्था विवर्जिता सृष्टिकर्त्री ब्रह्मरूपा गोप्त्री गोविन्दरूपिणी सुप्ता प्राज्ञात्मिका तुर्या सर्वावस्था विवर्जिता सृष्टिकर्त्री ब्रह्मरूपा गोप्त्री गोविन्दरूपिणी सुप्ता प्राज्ञात्मिका तुर्या सर्वावस्था विवर्जिता सृष्टिकर्त्री ब्रह्मरूपा गोप्त्री गोविन्दरूपिणी सुप्ता प्राज्ञात्मिका तुर्या सर्वावस्था विवर्जिता सृष्टिकर्त्री ब्रह्मरूपा गोप्त्री गोविन्दरूपिणी संहारिणी रुद्ररूपा तिरोधानकरीश्वरी सदाशिवानुग्रहदा पञ्चकृत्यपरायणा 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 भानुमण्डलमध्यस्था भैरवी भगमालिनी पद्मासना भगवती पद्मनाभसहोदरी भानुमण्डलमध्यस्था भैरवी भगमालिनी पद्मासना भगवती पद्मनाभसहोदरी भानुमण्डलमध्यस्था भैरवी भगमालिनी पद्मासना भगवती पद्मनाभसहोदरी उन्मेषनिमिषोत्पन्न विपन्न भुवनावलिः सहस्रशीर्षवदना सहस्राक्षी सहस्रपात्. Listen carefully. उन्मेष निमिषोत्पन्न विपन्न भुवनावलिः सहस्र शीर्ष वदना सहस्राक्षी सहस्रपात्. उन्मेष निमिषोत्पन्न विपन्न भुवनावलिः सहस्र शीर्ष वदना सहस्राक्षी सहस्रपात्. उन्मेष निमिषोत्पन्न विपन्न भुवनावलिः सहस्र शीर्ष वदना सहस्राक्षी सहस्रपात्. उन्मेष निमिषोत्पन्न विपन्न भुवनावलिः सहस्र शीर्ष वदना सहस्राक्षी सहस्रपात्. As a well-meaning suggestion, so the first time I chant the shlokas, please listen to it very carefully. Pay your utmost attention, your focused attention to listening. And second time when I'm chanting, mark the words which are split into smaller chunks. And also try to mentally recite. And the third time when I'm repeating, third and fourth time, chant it along with me, of course with yourselves mute. आब्रह्मकीटजननी वर्णाश्रमविधायिनी निजाज्ञारूपनिगमा पुण्या पुण्यफलप्रदा. आब्रह्मकीटजननी वर्णाश्रमविधायिनी निजाज्ञा रूप निगमा पुण्या पुण्य फलप्रदा. आब्रह्म कीट जननी वर्णाश्रम विधायिनी निजाज्ञा रूप निगमा पुण्या पुण्य फलप्रदा. आब्रह्म कीट जननी वर्णाश्रम विधायिनी निजाज्ञा रूप निगमा पुण्या पुण्य फलप्रदा. Some people say it is as phala. It is not phala, it is pha, because in Samskrta, like I have told before, there is no consonant pha. There is a half consonant called the upadhvaniya, but it is irrelevant to this particular context. Punya punya phala prada. Phala prada. आब्रह्मकीट जननी वर्णाश्रम विधायिनी निजाज्ञा रूप निगम पुण्या पुण्य फलप्रदा. श्रुति सीमंत सिंदूरी कृत पादाब्ज धूलिका सकलागम संदोह शुक्ति संपुट मौक्तिका. श्रुति सीमंत सिंदूरी कृत पादाब्ज धूलिका सकलागम संदोह शुक्ति संपुट मौक्तिका. श्रुति सीमंत सिंदूरी कृत पादाब्ज धूलिका सकलागम संदोह शुक्ति संपुट मौक्तिका. श्रुतिसीमन्तसिन्दूरीकृतपादाब्जधूलिका सकलागमसन्दोहशुक्तिसम्पुटमौक्तिका श्रुतिसीमन्तसिन्दूरीकृतपादाब्जधूलिका सकलागमसन्दोहशुक्तिसम्पुटमौक्तिका. Okay, let's stop here at 68. So please remind me next class where we have left off. 68. And also while watching the recordings from YouTube, where I have uploaded all the previous classes and sessions on YouTube on a channel called Samskrta Nandini, the link to which I have shared on the WhatsApp group. So please make sure that you at least listen to the first half an hour for accurate practice of recitation. Do not recite it, though you may be confident in the Ucharana and such. Please do not just recite it anyhow. Listen to the recording once, and once you feel as is being chanted is the same sounds and the same flow of you also chanting, only then it is recommended that you pick shlokas on your own and start chanting. Because as I've observed, many people here are still new to Samskrita and the Devanagari script, and it is not necessary that you must only follow this. If you have a Samskrita, I mean, if you have a Kannada book or a Tamil book, Malayalam, whatever you have, please refer to it, and as an audio, like you would hear from an FM, listen to the YouTube video and practice it well. This is a very hard stotra, because unlike in other, like in Vishnu Sahasranama or Shiva Sahasranama, there is an abundance of samasta padas. As you can see, this entire line here, Vadanasmara Mangalya Grihatorana Chillika, is just one word. Of course, having different, samasta padas within itself, but this is considered as one nama. And since there are no pauses in between, no breaks, it becomes harder for beginners to chant it. Therefore, I'm re-emphasizing that you should listen to the audio well, repeat along with the audio, and then pause the audio and see if you can chant it correctly on your own. And more so, special emphasis is given not to scare people away, but that proper emphasis itself is a way of sadhana. Proper emphasis on the uchcharan. It is called the shiksha. It's an entire shastra by itself. It is called shiksha, which is one of the Veda angas. Proper attention, giving our proper attention to each letter and hearing is in some way a discipline which we are inculcating into ourselves, and therefore increasing the concentration power of the mind. Uh, so in a way, you can say it is yama niyamas which we are following. Of course, yama niyamas, they represent social etiquette and dharma values. But in terms of parayana, these are basic yama niyamas, where the word is, where the break must be, and to recite every consonant swara with the utmost care and utmost dedication too. Please make this a habit. Okay. We had stopped with the discussion of meanings at Pancha Brahmasana Sthita. We did this, and we have seen Lalita Mahatripura Sundari kill Bhandasura using the Mahakameshwara Astra, and Brahmopendra Mahendradi Deva Samstuta Vaibhava. They have the Brahma, Upendra, which is Vishnu, and Mahendra, Rudra, and the other Devas, Indra, the other Devatas. They are praising Lalita for, in immense gratitude for having restored the balance and the supremacy of the Devas over the Asuras. Then when Rati prays for reviving her husband, she concedes to the request, and she does bring him back to life, and which is why she's also called as Kama Janani. She is the mother of Kama. Let's take it from there. Srimad Vagbhava Kutaika Swarupa Mukha Pankaja. And as was discussed earlier, there is this Sri Vidya mantra, the Panchadashakshari mantra, 15 syllabled mantra in 3 rows. The first row is called as the Shri Mad Vagbhava Kuta. The first row is called the Vagbhava Kuta. Second row is called the Madhya Kuta. And the third row is of syllables is called the Shakti Kuta. Kuta means a collection. So Vagbhava Kuta is the first row. Second row of syllables is Madhya Kuta. And third, and third and final is the Shakti Kuta. Here she is depicted after the slaying of Bhandasura and his ginormous army. We are now back to describing her in her Sattvika form, where she is now the personification of the Sri Vidya mantra itself. So Srimad Vagbhava Kutaika Kuta Ekaswarupa Mukha Pankaja. She verily is the life and energy of the first line of the Sri Vidya mantra, which is called the Vagbhava Kuta. Why is it called Vagbhava? Vagbhava means the origin of Vak. Vak Bhava. Vachaha Bhavaha Vagbhavaha. The place from where Vak itself comes out, from the place from where all expressions spring out, is called Vagbhava. And so that is the first row. In fact, the first row, the first syllable starts with Ka. And Ka is also said to be the first Vyanjana, right? In when you write the Varnamala, Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nga, Cha, Cha, Ja, Ja, Nya. So it starts with Ka. That way also you can think of it being synonymous with being the Vak Bhava, the origin of all expressions, the first letter of all expressions. And Ka, incidentally, also comes from the pit of the throat, right? It is called the Kanthya. Akuha Visarjaniyanam Kantaha. A, Ka, Kha, Ga, Gha, Nga, and Ha and Aha. All of these come from the Kantha. And of course, all vocal expressions also come from the throat. So, Vakbhava, Kuta, Ekaswarupa, Mukha Pankaja. And so, her face, her divine, glorious, lotus-like face, holy face, is the first segment of the Sri Vidya mantra. And then from the neck down, Kantha Adhaha Kati Paryanta. Kati is the waist. So from her neck till the waist is the second part, which represents the Madhyakuta Swarupini. So the Madhya, the middle row of that mantra, is personified by her body, the middle portion of her body from the neck till the waist. And then from the waist down, Shakti Kuta Ekata Apanna Kati Adhobhaga Dharini. So from Kati Adhobhaga, so from the waist down, Kati Adhobhaga Dharini, that leg and the other regions have are the personified form of the last line of the Sri Vidya mantra, which is called the Shakti Kuta Ekatapanna. So her form, her physical form has merged with the Shakti Kuta. Ekatapanna means it has merged with uh, the third line of the Sri Vidya mantra. Therefore, the mantra is no different from the deity, is what the uh, purport here is. The physical form is equal to the sound, the vibration of the mantra, and the vibration of the mantra in its 3 different rows is equal to the physical form. Moola mantratmika, moola kutatraya kalevara. And so this is called the Moola mantra. She is the Atmika, she is the soul of this Moola mantra, the Moola Shri Vidya mantra. And Moola Kutatraya Kalevara. And there is uh, an inner meaning to this Kutatraya. So there is the Vagbhava, Madhya, and the Shakti Kuta, the 3 rows. And there is a Moola meaning to all of these. The inner esoteric meaning to this Sri Vidya mantra, which forms her inner subtle body, Kalevara, which forms her subtle body. Kulamrita Eka Rasika, Kula Sanketa Palini. Kula is The Kundalini Shakti is also called Kula. And Kula Amrita Eka Rasika. So she is a Rasika. She is a connoisseur, or in less polite terms, she is an addict of drinking the Amrita, of drinking the nectarine bliss of the Kundalini energy. So she relishes this, which is also perhaps what the wine in her left hand represents, the cup of wine in her left hand. If you remember in the Sindhurarana Vigraham, we had discussed that in one hand of hers, she holds the red lily, and in another, she holds a cup of wine, of ale. And that is actually the Kula Amrita, which she holds, which she often likes to drink, take a sip from. Kula Sanketa Palini. And then Kula here again refers to the Kaula Marga, which is the Vama Marga. Kula Sanketa means the Vama Marga. Palini. She is the guardian. She is the both the invoked deity as well as the guardian deity of the Kaula Marga, of the Kaulachara Marga or the Vama Marga. Kulangana, Kulantastha, Kaulini, Kula Yogini. Now all of these are very synonymous. Kulangana is she who is the whose body is, or the woman. Angana is a woman who is the materialized form of the Kula, of the Kundalini energy, Kulangana, and Kula Antastha. In fact, she is so subtle that she actually is the indwelling energy of the Kundalini energy itself. So she is Kula Antastha. She always resides within and permeates through the Kundalini. Kaulini, she is as good as the entire Marga itself. They say the path is more important than the destination. So both she is both the destination of the Kaula Marga as well as the path itself. So she is the Kaulini, which is the Marga, which is represented, which takes us to her, and Kula Yogini. She is also the Sadhika. She is also the uh, practitioner of this Kaula Marga. Akula, she who has no Kula. And here Kula is the usual meaning of lineage. Because she has no birth as such, she does not belong to any particular clan or lineage. Akula Samayantastha. Now we have so far discussed that she is the guardian deity, invoked deity, the practitioner, the journey itself, and the Kundalini energy of the left-handed path. Now we discuss about the right-handed path where she is called the Samaya Antastha. She is also the one who treads the path of Samaya. Samaya here means the Dakshina Marga, the right-handed path, also called sometimes the Vedika path. And the Kaula Marga is sometimes referred to as the Tantrika, which is actually not accurate, but still it's somehow believed to be called popularly called as the Tantrika Marga. And then Samaya Antastha, she resides in the Marga of Samaya, and Samayachara Tatpara. She engrosses herself in the achara, in the disciplines and the rituals of the Samaya or the Dakshina Marga. So to give you a quick understanding, so Kaula Marga is where prominently the focus is on manipulating, of course with respect and humility, the energies which are there within our body without the use of much external equipments. And there the focus is more on the actual process than the emotions felt inside. And Samayachara is where the Marga consists of using many equipments from outside. And it's more about bhakti, to put it lightly. It's more about, of course, there is bhakti in Kaula too, but what is popularly understood as bhakti, that is, you offer flowers, naivedya, do kumkumarchana, pushparchana, all that, and you invoke the deity in a certain yantra, mantra, and do japa, and you follow certain austerities like of muddy and all that, and do some fasting, and all of that is what is generally termed as the samayachara, which is uh, a marga, which is a way which is given to the masses. So there are almost nil side effects to following or treading on the Samayachara path, because it is, how do I put it? It's like a board exam. There are two, there is a competitive exam and then there's a board exam. A board exam is for everybody, from irrespective of their backgrounds. Of course, some people are from poorer backgrounds, some are from a richer, from more well-to-do families, or some people may have taken coaching, some people may not be coached. So for everybody, the board exams are kind of a saving grace. They'll get to their destination. They'll still get into good colleges in their particular respective states and so on. Whereas the competitive exams are more specialized and more niche, and they're also fast track. Whereas Samayachara is, I mean, as the name suggests, it's Samaya. It takes a long time to reach there, but quite safe. It's a highway. Samaya is a highway. Whereas Kaula Marga is like the narrow shortcut through the village, through the gullies, and through sometimes perhaps even the Shmashana, or perhaps through a jungle, which is not really well known. It is very specialized. Only those who are coached, who have taken this JE and all that training, will be able to crack this particular exam. Not to say that they're any less or more intelligent, but they choose a different path because they have different opportunities and perhaps different backgrounds and maybe different samskaras. So that is what the Kaula Marga is, which is fast. It's a fast track process where more emphasis is on using the already cosmic energy within us. That is, I mean, see, I mean, by that I don't mean that you're not going to use any equipments. And it is definitely not the, um, the Bhuta Preta Vidya that we see on television, which is what is branded as very unjustly as Tantra. It is not so. It is not piercing a needle into a doll. It's not tying a rope around, I mean, a thread around a certain banyan tree, or it's not hanging skeletons and all that. That is definitely not the Kaula Marga. Kaula Marga is, of course, makes use of mantras, more specifically the Bija mantras, which may or may not have any meaning. In most cases, they do not. And uh, once again, it involves a particular invocation of a deity, uh, particularly the female deities. Usually, Kaulamaga has abundance of um, female the Devis than the Devatas, and there the five ingredients usually which are referred to are called the Pancha Makaras. So that is making use of energy which is usually expended in our daily life through Mamsa, that is meat consumption, Maithuna, which is sex, then Matsya, which is fish, and then Madhya, which is wine, that is alcohols, and then Mudra. Now, Mudra is a debatable term. People say it is just the Mudra, the hand gestures. The others say it is some kind of a fermented grain of rice. Anyhow, so these are the very bare essentials, bare processes which are involved in the Kaula Marga. Of course, this all of this is already and always being done under the guidance of a preceptor. It does not go unsupervised. And the idea there is first to not really invest in more aesthetic or more acceptable, socially acceptable emotions, but it is a fast track process where it is trying to look at nature and trying to break free out of nature. So it's like there are two cages. In both, there are parrots. In one of them, there is, okay, let's not say a parrot. In one of them, there is a parrot, and another, there is a crow. And the crow, because it is more powerful, it's also quite large. It doesn't have much, it doesn't like to use much of its brain, so it will just bash itself against the cage, the doors of the cage. And sometimes it is actually successful too. So it will just barge out of the cage. Whereas the parrot may try to allure the owner, it will try to sing, make friends with it, and then start pecking a little by little, charm the owner itself to release the cage. So this is the two approaches in the Samaya and the Kaula Margas. And she is approachable by both, which is why in one hand she has the Madhya, the vine, and in the other she has the lotus, which is the Samayachara. So there in Kaula Marga, there is not much focus on developing soft, kind emotions. It's all about ruthless self-determination and self-discipline. So therein you put particular asanas. You try to go in the middle of the night. You try to face your fears head on. It's not just brushing it under a carpet, or it's not anymore delaying the process through lots of pujas and such. It's just head to head combat between the sadhaka and the forces of nature which are trying to shackle and pull him down. So while nature itself puts uh, this urge for this urge and desire and sex, the lust for sex within us, they try to metamorphose it and address it head on. Similarly, with the case with alcohol, with intoxicants. Similar is the case with violence, which is why the representation of Mamsa, and then Matsya, which is so literally because there's already Mamsa, then it seems redundant that they mention Matsya, because of course fish is no different from just any other meat. But here Matsya, some people interpret is uh, the control of the breath, because sometimes Vayu in Kaula Marga is represented by the symbol of Matsya. And as we have seen, Meenakshi, Matsya, Meena is also representative of the two channels of energy within us, the yin and the yang, the Ida and the Pingala. So some manipulation of those energies is what Matsya is. And addressing the inner violent nature of man, that is Mamsa. Addressing the sexual and relationship urge within us, that is Maithuna, and addressing the need for food itself is Mudra. And what else? So Maithuna, Mudra, Mamsa, Matsya, and Madhya. So intoxicants, the need for escape. So why do people take intoxicants? It is majorly to escape from some suffering in their lives. All of us do that, either through entertainment or through some kind of time pass, sattvic or rajasic or tamasic time pass we do. We escape from our own nature. We escape from our own loneliness. And some people do it in tamasic forms by taking drugs or alcohol and so on. No judgment, but the Kaula Marga deals with that aspect where it is addressing this problem of escape. So, escape, hunger, violence, um, lust, and which other? Food. So, these are the five primary urges of nature, five primary bondages. And through these processes, through mantras, and through particular forms of sadhana at particular times, they seek to unshackle themselves directly. And so there they don't really consider God as the ultimate. They do consider moksha as the ultimate kaivalya, but there they're using all the devatas and the devis as stepping stones, as angels who are aiding them in their process of unshacklement. And that too is Lalita herself. Finally, is the description of the Shat Chakras. Mooladharaika Nilaya Brahma Granthi Vibhedini. As we have already discussed this, at the Mooladhara, there are six chakras. Five of them are associated directly with the elements, and one is associated with the mind. So, at the Mooladhara is where the basal chakra is. A chakra is a meeting, the confluence of the nadis, either the point of confluence or the place of origin or the place of destination, the final ending of the nerves. So at the Mooladhara, at the coccyx, as is called technically in biology, the base of the spine is where the Mooladhara is. At that place, when she is residing in the Mooladhara Ekanilaya, she functions, if pleased, as the Brahma Granthi Vibhedini. She will destroy the knot, she'll untie the knot of Brahma. So there at Brahma, at the Mooladhara is where the basic functions of sleep, hunger, food, movement, and reproduction are. So these are the five basic functions, which is what any creature, any creation of Brahma does, any organism does. And so when invoked, she will untie that knot, she will break that chain, thereby signifying this sadhaka or sadhika no longer will be affected by the basal instincts. Then Manipurantar Udita Vishnu Granthi Vibhedini. When she becomes Udita, when she rises to the sanctuary of Manipura, which is at the navel, that is where the chakra which is responsible for ambition, hunger, for passion, and for love, for achieving things in life, for success, for zest of life. That is where Manipura, that is governed by the Manipura. At that place, the governing deity is Vishnu, and there is a knot there. A knot is where the nadis are obstructed, the flow of energy is obstructed. At that place, when she is pleased, she'll break open that knot too, thus freeing the sadhaka from any notion of ambition, any notion of attachment and passion. It will modify the passion into a compassion for all creatures. A passion for a particular person, particular thing, particular goal will now be transformed and enlarged into a compassion, a larger cosmic and worldwide compassion for every single creature. Sarva bhuta hite rataha, as the Bhagavad Gita says. And then Ajna Chakrantaralastha, and once she reaches the chakra which is at the forehead, which is called the Ajna Chakra, there is a knot of Rudra Granthi. And when pleased, she will break open that knot. So what happens here? Uh, at the Mooladhara is the earth element. So earth means being very grounded, very uh, close to the soil, from ashes and unto ashes, as the saying goes. So that is a very lowly existence, as any organism in this, any living organism would do. So at that place where the idea of the energy is to just survive, the sadhaka has risen over that. And then at Manipura, which is where the tattva of Agni is, some people actually say these are twin elements. The Manipura and the Swadhisthana are said to be twin elements. So interchangeably, they are called Manipura and Swadhisthana, and interchangeably are the fire and the earth, water elements. So some people say Vishnu is associated more with water than with fire, and therefore Manipura would represent the water chakra, which is the second chakra. We will not be getting into that discussion right now. It's up for scholars to give us a verdict on that. But all in all, basically passion, ambition, hunger, uh, hunger for prosperity and abundance, and such slightly higher goals of life are being taken care at the Manipura, which also now she has ascended. Finally, the Ajna is where the mind is. The mind is situated, and which is why most people also think. So we all instinctively think, "Where are you?" So we say at the. I mean, we show ourselves in the head. Though by social norms we say love is at the heart. We ourselves feel our identity to be most centered around the head, around the eyes, which is why for every picture of our for any government purposes, etc., we take only the head, the neck up. We never take off our hand, off our chest, or our hearts, etc., right? Because we feel that identity somehow is related to the mind, and that mind sits at the head, in the head. So Ajna Chakra, at there, the Rudra Granthi is present. Now, what does Rudra Granthi do? This is the final knot which ties together all the flow of, which blocks the flow of energy to the level of wisdom. Ajna is where wisdom is. Ajna is where command is. Ajna literally means a command. So even the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and all of that, which are at the level of the Ajna chakra, is where all the hormones which control govern other hormones are released, right? And even the mind is like the remote for the entire body. So all commands are issued, all orders are issued from the Ajna chakra, just as Rudra does too, because he governs the laws of nature. So he issues the laws, he issues commands. Therefore, Rudra there. And Rudra, in another meaning, also represents the deity of instruction. And Ajna, wisdom, whenever there is a dawn of wisdom, in most cases, I would say in all cases, passion and other botherations of life gets destroyed by itself, by naturally so. So a person, for example, I give this example of a baby, of a child who is so enamored by a particular toy, let's say this jingling bell, and once it learns after playing with it for a very long time what it does, how it operates, and all of that, it now no longer becomes interested in it. I mean, that it goes to onto another toy is a different matter, but in that particular context, it no longer is interested because it has figured its features out. It has completely mapped its functions and its characteristics. So, at that level, essentially, wisdom has dawned on the child about the toy. Similarly, it may buy a new car or something, or this keyed dog, this little puppy which makes a sound when given a key, and a winding toy, and so on. So it will, for some days, when the curiosity is still on, it will figure things out. It will love to play with it all the while, and then once it has figured everything out, it will just throw it away. It won't even look at it for the second moment. This is what exactly happens to all of us too at various stages of our life, where we have figured out things. Naturally, that desire for that object, that person, that situation, that kind of happiness, that kind of attachment goes away. And this is symbolically that desire is being destroyed. Just as Rudra destroyed Kama, the symbolic meaning of cessation of all desires, of all passions, is happening at the Ajna Chakra. So, for a yogi, which is still a very advanced yogi who has reached that stage, for example, Totapuri, Adi Shankaracharya and others who have reached this enormity of intellectualism, enormity of philosophy, and enormity of basically all experiences of life itself have taught them great wisdom. To such people, the final energy is gets blocked at that point of Rudra Granthi, which is still said to be a Granthi because it is still a knot, because it is not allowing this soul, this sadhaka, to experience true bliss in itself. And for most people whose energy it is said to be at the Ajna chakra, they become so detached and so dispassionate, naturally so, of the world, that usually they are what we have this calendar images of being yogis like Ramana Maharshi and so on, who have become completely detached. They have nothing to do with the world anymore. So they may either return into a care or they may still be in ashrama, but literally nothing will even touch them because they are like this burning fire, which are pushing away, which are averse to all passions and attachments and desires and all amplitudes of sukha and dukkha. Now it no longer interests them. So they become detached. Therefore, they are still at the level, I would say, what is in Vedanta termed as the Vijnanamaya Kosha of the supreme intellect. But still, to go further and actually experience joys, the Shastras say there is another level which is called the Sahasrara Ambuja Sudha Sara Varshini. So, therein, at the Ajna, there is no joy, there is no pleasure, but there is also no pain. But to reach a level which is the Anandamaya Kosha and beyond, uh, hmm, she has to first of all break that knot of the Rudra Granthi, and then she ascends to the place, to a chakra which is actually outside the body, physical body, which is called the Sahasrara, the thousand petaled chakra. And at that place, she dances in the joy and in the rain of Sudha Sara. She dances in the fluids of Amrita, of nectar, and of Ananda. Sudhasara Abhivarshini. So from Samsara to Sudhasara. So Samsara is the six chakras, and then Sudhasara is the seventh and the last, which is above. And therefore, this chakra being above the head, which means it is not really connected to this particular body, is why it is said that the person who ascends to that stage, to that level, is no longer limited by a particular identity. It no longer functions only as this person XYZ residing at ABC place doing PQR things. It is no longer so. Because the Sahasrara of every creature and every inanimate and animate objects, Charachara Jagat, it is connected. And therefore, that is the place where she herself resides. That is, God itself resides. And therefore, a person reaching that place is as good as the waters of a river draining out into an ocean. Yatha nadyasyandamanah astam samudre gachanti nama rupe vihaya. So says the Mundaka Upanishad, where just as the rivers drain their waters gushedly into the ocean, and they no longer will retain those waters of that particular river, will no longer retain neither their form nor the name. So Ganga, I mean, this particular water does, it won't say I belong to Ganga, or I belong to uh, alluvial soil or something like that. So the nama, rupa, and the function, they completely get obliterated, and they become unionized with this entire homogeneous ocean. That is what, that is where Lalita is, and that is how, why she is dancing in the rain of Sudhasara. And Tadillata Samaruchihi Shatchakropari Samskrita, and thus Shat Chakra, six chakras, Upari, she is therefore firmly established. Parisamsthita, she is firmly established in that position, in that level of ascendance, which is above the six chakras. And therefore, she has not only transcended the five elements, therefore transcended Prakriti, but also the Manas. And now she is in a state of cosmic union. Tadillata Samaruchihe, and just as from the clouds there are these thunderbolts, this lightning which strikes the ground. Similarly, she, when she wills, will come down into the body of this sadhaka as and when she wills, with such great, enormous force that that vessel, this medium, who no longer has its own identity, will glisten like the blazing lightning. For the blazing lightning, Samaruchihi, Tatillata Samaruchihi, like a creeper of lightning, as bright and as flashy as this creeper of lightning are her powers and her miracles which happen through this vessel when she has willed that this person should ascend the Shat Chakra. And you can't even say this person, because the idea of a person and entity would have vanished. So it is only a vessel, an empty vessel in which she sometimes descends with enormous force. And Mahasakti, so at the Sahasrara, there is the final union. Sakti means a union of Shiva and Shakti. The Ida and Pingala and Sushumna, they finally dissolve into all the ocean of Sudha Sagara, the ocean of these channels, these rivers of energy with all its tributaries, has now emptied its energy into the Sudha Sagara, and thus all energy is now homogenized. There is no identity attached to it, and therefore in this holy union she becomes the Kundalini itself. She is the Kundalini. Bisatantu taniyasi, and she's, when she comes back, this Kundalini energy is as slender and sleek as the stalk of a lotus. Bisatantu taniyasi. She is that very subtle, a thread like, just as they say, the lightning bolt, which is also very fine in the sky. She similarly descends back into as the Kundalini in a very peaceful, subtle form. Bisatantu taniyasi. From tomorrow, we shall see other descriptions which relate God, that is Lalita, with the world. Any questions?
Namaste, sir. Can I ask my friend also to join? She wants to learn the Sahasranama.
Please do, please do. Send her the link, forward the link and ask her.
It's done. And she can join.
It would be really great. Thank you. Please do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Dhanyavad. Any other question?
Not a question, but Dhanyawada Sudarshan for explaining it very well.
Dhanyavad. Thank you for attending our lectures. Really great. Yes, Pranav, you had a question. Pranav, just a minute. Pranav sir had a question.
So I had a question. Well, thanks a lot for explaining the details of Kaulachara and the Samayachara. So I also heard so much information from different places about what these mean. So I was wondering, like I hear a lot of conflicting things also. So I wanted to ask, can you suggest any source, not like a source that gives all like the practical details and stuff, which only a practitioner would do, but just to reference for like that defines these different approaches. Can you share that?
Surely. On the group, I shall pick out those sources, references, and share it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dhanyavad.
I just wanted to add one more thing. You were talking about the Mula Mantra, right? So wanted to say that there are some stotrams, if people are not initiated into the Mula Mantra, there's stotram Kalyana Vrishti Stava, which so each verse starts with each letter of the Mula Mantra. So people want to gain some of those benefits. They can chant the stotram, which has been given by Adi Shankaracharya.
Fantastic. Right. In fact, that's very true. Recently, there was this big meet also of some Guinness World Record with the Kalyana Vrishti Stava by Swami Yadture Swamiji.
It was suggested by Shringeri Jagadguru. There was a lot of people recited that.
Correct. And in fact, there is also one other stotram, which is, of course, Soundarya also does have it in two particular verses. Adi Shankaracharya also he gives that as a capsule and gives it in a very cryptic form. But there is also another stotram called the Lalita Trishati Namavali, the 300 verses of Lalita. So the first, it consists of 20 verses, so 20 nama each for the every syllable. So ka and etc. So 20 nama for that, and then the next 20 for the next, and so on. So altogether 300 namas are there. Yeah, correct. So Kalyana Vrishti Stava and this one other, correct. Do you know of any other stotrams which talk about this?
Yeah, there's one called Lalita Parameshwara Stava. By Sri Ananda Bharati, Narasimha Bharati Mahaswami.
Okay.
Has based on
what is the name? Could you please repeat again?
Lalita Parameshwara Stava or Lalitamba Parameshwara Stava.
Okay. If possible, could you share it on the group if you do find it?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dhanyavad. Any other suggestion, questions, or something that you want to add or subtract from the discussion? Please do so. Somebody else was about to speak. Was it Parvatamma? Miss Parvatamma?
No, I just wanted to say thank you for this detailed explanation, and this is the first time I'm seeing this. I'm listening and seeing this, so I'm really impressed with this. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Dhanyavad. My pleasure. Astu, okay, we shall meet tomorrow then. Dhanyavad. Namaste.
Dhanyawadaha.
Dhanyavad.